everyone, welcome to the show. Have you ever felt like maybe like what everyone else thinks is like just wrong? Like
Yeah,
there's this huge pull to just go along with the crowd,
right.
but you have this tiny voice inside saying, hey, go the other way.
Totally.
Well, today we're looking at a book that says this happens all the time,
Yeah,
and it even gives you some tools to figure out how to deal with it.
exactly. And the book is The Art of Contrary Thinking by Humphrey B. Neill.
Okay, so contrary thinking.
It's a really interesting mix.
Okay.
It's got self-help stuff, business strategy,
Or-
even some psychology.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's all built around this idea that popular opinions, especially about things like economics and politics,
Right.
those are usually wrong.
Now that's a big claim.
It is.
Okay.
But the cool thing is it actually gives you ways to train your mind,
Right.
think differently,
Right.
to kind of go against the grain.
So not just being contrary for the sake of being contrary.
Exactly. It's about being thoughtful about it.
Okay, so what were some of the things that stood out to you when you read this book?
Well, one of the first things that really hit me were the historical example
Okay.
Neill uses in the book.
Give me an example.
So like after World War II,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people were convinced there was going to be this huge depression.
Yeah, we've all heard about the Great Depression.
Right. But this one never actually happened.
Wow.
Another one was in the 1950s.
Okay.
Everyone thought inflation was going to be a permanent problem.
Huh. And it wasn't.
Nope.
It's fascinating how often these like mass predictions are just totally wrong.
Right. It makes you wonder, like, how much of what we believe is actually true
Yeah.
versus just what everyone else is saying.
And how much of that is just that we're social creatures
Oh, absolutely.
and we want to fit in.
We have this deep-seated need to belong.
Right. So if everyone's saying something's true,
Then it must be true, right?
yeah, easier to go along than to like rock the boat.
It's that whole social proof thing.
Right.
Like, if everyone else is doing it, it must be the right thing to do.
Exactly.
But the problem is
yeah.
that can create this, like, feedback loop
Oh, yeah.
where even if the original idea was wrong,
Mm-hmm.
it just keeps getting stronger.
Because everyone's reinforcing each other.
Exactly. And those historical examples,
Yeah.
they really show you how powerful that can be.
And how dangerous. I mean, sometimes that
Yeah.
crowd mentality can lead to some really bad decisions.
Totally. And Neill actually goes into the psychology of this.
Okay, so what's he say?
Well, he talks about how when you have a big group of people,
Yeah.
their individual thinking kind of takes a back seat
Okay.
to emotions,
Right.
to imitation,
Uh-huh.
even fear.
Interesting.
It's like the light of reason gets dimmed.
When everyone's all riled up.
Exactly.
So what does he say we should do about it?
Well, Neill talks about how the crowd thinks with its heart,
Okay.
driven by those strong emotions.
Right.
But an individual thinks with their brain.
So it's not that individuals are always right,
Right.
but that there's a different process going on.
It's more about the dynamics.
Okay.
When you have a big group,
Mhm.
it tends to be less rational.
Like, think about how fast things spread online.
Oh, yeah.
People share things without even thinking if it's true.
It's like a modern version of what Neill was talking about.
Exactly.
Back in his day, it was slower,
Right.
but the same basic principles apply.
Okay, so I'm curious.
Yeah.
Was there anything about the book that you didn't love?
Well, I'd say the writing style can be a bit
Yeah.
dated.
It was written a while ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Originally in the 50s and then revised into the 80s.
Yeah, so maybe not the most modern style.
Not really.
Anything else?
Well, some of the examples are very specific to that time period.
Yeah, you kind of have to translate them to today's world.
Exactly.
But the basic ideas are still relevant.
Oh, absolutely.
So if you had to give it a rating out of 5 stars,
I could give it 4.
4 stars.
Yeah, I think the core message is really valuable.
Okay, so what's that core message?
It's about the importance of independent thinking
Right.
and questioning what everyone else believes.
Especially when there's a lot of hype
Exactly.
or strong emotions involved.
Right.
Okay, so let's dive deeper into that idea of contrary thinking.
Okay.
Why is it so important?
Well, first of all, it helps us overcome our own biases.
Okay.
Neill points out that we're naturally drawn to consensus.
Yeah, we want to fit in.
Right. And we don't want to feel like we're the odd one out.
So how does contrary thinking help with that?
By forcing yourself to consider the opposite viewpoint,
Yeah.
you're basically challenging your own assumptions.
It's like having your own internal debate team.
Exactly. It's like a mental stress test for your beliefs.
So instead of just blindly accepting what everyone else says,
Right.
you're actually asking why.
You're digging deeper.
Okay, so that's one benefit.
Yeah, and it's especially helpful when emotions are running high.
Right.
Like in a group setting.
Because that's when people are most likely to make bad decisions. Exactly.
Give me an example.
Like, think about investment bubbles.
Okay.
Everyone gets super excited about a particular stock,
Yeah.
but a contrary thinker might be the one asking.
Oh, what could go wrong?
Exactly, and that kind of thinking
Yeah.
can help you avoid losing a lot of money.
Didn't Neill talk about something like that?
He did. He had an example of the stock market crash in 1946.
Okay.
Right before the crash, everyone was super optimistic.
Oh, so the market was going up and up.
Exactly. But the few people who were cautious,
Mm-hmm.
they probably did a lot better.
Because they didn't lose everything in the crash.
Yeah.
And it's not just about avoiding bad stuff.
No.
Contrary thinking can also help you find opportunities
Totally.
that other people miss.
If everyone's focused on one thing,
Mm.
you might be able to see something they don't.
Because you're looking in a different direction. It's
Exactly.
like those companies that disrupt entire industries.
Yeah, they often go against conventional wisdom.
So it's not about being a contrarian just for the sake of it.
Right.
It's about being willing to think differently, to question the status quo,
And to be skeptical of hype.
especially when everyone's getting caught up in it.
Exactly.
Because popular opinion might be right sometimes,
Sure.
but it's often wrong at the most important times.
Like at those turning points.
Exactly.
And that's where contrary thinking can really make a difference.
Wow, this has been a really fascinating conversation.
Yeah, it's been great.
I'm definitely going to have to check out this book
You should. It's called The Art of Contrary Thinking.
by Humphrey B. Neill.
That's right.
All right, everyone, if you enjoyed this conversation,
Yeah.
please give us a like and subscribe.
And leave a comment below.
Tell us about a time when you went against the crowd.
And what happened?
Did it work out for you?
Did you learn something?
We'd love to hear your stories.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.